this? I really don't understand it.
What the hell is wrong with y'all? You ain't that damn good. Stop acting like it.
Some ineffectual privilege defeats soft penis debutante.
Stop right there. Stop. No.
Me think it amazing.
Me think it amazing as well. Welcome back to the SC Guns podcast. This day, we'll be previewing rather. It's a good start, isn't it? Round 2. We should mention off the top that this is being recorded pre-Hurricanes and Renegades. So a little bit unknown in terms of some of the Renegades players, but I feel like we've probably got a good enough gauge from some of them on the Sixers night. But we'll talk about it more, I guess. Round 2 coming up. The Scorchers and the Strikers have a double game round. No buys. What do we think? I probably should introduce you as well. We've got Nath here as well, as we have on most of our shows, I think. How you doing, Nath?
A ripping intro from you as always. Yeah, good. I mean, what are we? We're 4 games out of 5 into the first round of the season. A fair bit's happened. We've lost a couple of players to injury. A few roles have changed drastically. Some players are a lot better than what we thought they'd be, and some other players a lot worse than what we thought they'd be. And that's all culminated into currently Marcus Stoinis topping the points for the round. So there's that, I suppose.
So far.
We're pretty sure Sutherland being the captain, top 6 to 7 batter and bowling 4 overs probably gets more than 34 points. But
Tim Seifert
cricket's a funny game.
Well.
Tim Seifert's in the running. There's every chance Jacob Bethel on a 1 game round just goes out and scores 100 or something stupid. Typical
Greatest
big
player of all
bash.
time, apparently.
According to Michael Vaughan. Good evening to Michael Vaughan, or afternoon, or whatever it is.
He is in Australia.
Yeah, he is. The thing with this one, you should be watching this hopefully before tonight's games even started, depending on when we release it. So you'll have this in the back of your mind going into the final game. I think that's pretty good. You'll also have all tomorrow to listen to it and for it to be relevant as well, more importantly. We should probably get straight into it, shouldn't we?
Sure. I did mention off the top that it's the Scorchers and Strikers double game, and we'll reiterate that. No buys as well. Any news you've got for us, Nath?
So something to monitor if you're considering trading in Jai Richardson / own Jai Richardson already is that he will be managed throughout the Big Bash due to the injury history. I would also presume that Lance Morris gets a similar treatment, just considering he's also coming back from injuries. Deluxe. They are going to manage him, and they're going to be careful, particularly with playing so many games in a short space of time. This is from the bowling coach, Tim McDonald at Perth. I think they're going to try and, from the judge of the comments like this one, we know how good he is with his performance. If he plays 2 or 3 games and performs like that, the Aussie selectors are looking pretty hard. It kind of sounds as though they're going to play him in 2 or 3 game clumps. So let's say it's 3. That's the end of the double. It makes him a relevant pick. However, if it's 2, that means 1 game next round. Now, the key to that would be get a loop set up for Jai. You can't captain him, nor will you. Let's be honest. It's Matt Short.
Well, just before, their games 1 and 2 are a week apart. They played on Sunday and they'll play again on Saturday. So I think I would be fairly confident in him playing both Saturday and Monday for the double.
I think it's the gap between the Saturday and Monday that probably could warrant a rest potentially. I wouldn't, but I'm not a bowling coach, am I?
No.
Well, or am I? Yeah, or a batting coach. And then they're also hopeful that they'll get Josh Inglis for next round. Now, that's relevant for many reasons, one of which being, if you do have someone like Tim Seifert, who in all likelihood makes money this week, barring a dud score this evening. Uh, you could downgrade to Josh Inglis, get 20K out of it or something around that, and invest that into your team, which I think that's pretty important, particularly when there's not big price rises round one, and there's a bit of crap knocking about in people's teams, like Hamish McKenzie's, like Adam Zampa's potentially, again, pending tonight's game. And there's a bloke called Fergus O'Neill who we all got sucked into, or a lot of us got sucked into. And, again, saying that same buzzword, pending tonight's game, could also be another dud. So just something to think about there, I suppose.
Yeah, it's I think, and it's probably a bit of hope as well, considering I have Joe Richardson at the moment. But I would imagine that considering there was a week between their first game and what will be their second game on Saturday, that the clump is probably for the next couple of games. And I hope, at least without any knowledge, that he does play that double. Again, buzz sentence even before Renegades and Hobart tonight. We did see, which is relatively important for the Strikers, Fabian Allen get injured in the Thunder game. We saw that he bowled 2 overs early, and then Matt Short put himself on again later in the game to bowl, which at least the commentators felt as if that would have been Fabian Allen's overs, which I got the sense that they're probably right. So we probably underestimated his role a little bit. He's probably batting a bit too far down the order anyway for that to be as appealing as an Overton. But I would like your thoughts, Nathan, on how this changes the Strikers lineup. Anything new for people? As obviously Jordan Buckingham, we talked about a bit in the preseason, and he wasn't. He didn't play first game. So give us sort of an idea of at least your thoughts about how the
I
Strikers are
mean,
going to pan out.
the first thing is that it lengthens their batting lineup a bit, I suppose, because they've got 6 bowlers already. They don't need to be playing 7 bowlers. Like Matt Short's good enough. Jamie Overton was excellent again. Henry Thornton was great. Yeah, did you see that thumbs up bubble again? Yeah.
I'm doing that.
Henry Thornton was great. Basley not super effective, but good with the bat. And Boyce is solid as always. But the problem was that they bowled Lloyd Pope in the second last over, and he went for 30 runs.
One of the great overs.
One of the it is. It's Ben Hilfenhaus to Chris Lynn sort of areas.
Oh, another good one.
Yeah, just 5 big Dorothys in a row. Brett Lee saying. With that, you're sort of thinking, okay, it's very hard to justify Lloyd Pope being selected again, or at least for the next game. Just it's a bit too flat, not spinning into the arc sort of stuff from Popey. So I think he might get a rest. Well, rest is polite, but I think he might miss. Then you've got Basley. You've probably got Buckingham coming in. They signed a bloke called Liam Haskett as well as a replacement player, a WA fast bowler who's over 2 meters tall. That's the sort of genetics, physicality the physical being that we like in cricketers, in Western Australian fast bowlers. You'd hope so. You'd hope so. You put that together, he's a chance of getting a game himself. They could be rolling out two $39,000 paces in round 1, which would be quite the surprise. But no, round 2, sorry, rather. I think the main thing is that you'll get more overs out of Matt Short being the 6th bowler rather than the 7th bowler. You probably get a longer batting lineup as well, as in Ollie Pope's joining this round. You and it's probably Fabian Allen out, Ollie Pope in rather. Because I just don't think, unless we hear something quite literally today, that they'll sign an international replacement for Fabian Allen. And so if they do, well then yes, there is something there, isn't there? We could pick that guy, but for me, that they're the main changes to that lineup.
It is interesting. I'm looking over at the bowling scorecard for the Strikers, and Basley had 19 off his 1 over. Fabian Allen had 1 for 10 off his 2 overs. Boyce was good, and then I looked down at the bottom to Lloyd Pope, 4 overs, 48 runs and a wicket. So 31 of those runs of the 48 he gave up that last over. Just something to dwell on, I guess, as a bit of a showing from Sams. And maybe that he didn't have a great day with the ball, Daniel Sams, but decent day with the bat. You would have thought maybe he's being a bit more two-dimensional than he has been in the past couple of seasons. He hasn't done all that much with the bat recently. Anyway, we'll move on to more important things.
Yeah.
Ollie Pope, I would like to at least touch on for a minute or two because he's class. And the Strikers at top order on, when was it, Tuesday, sort of failed. Now, we don't expect that from Matt Short all the time, do we? But Jake Weatherald was the only guy in the top 4 or 5 that scored over 10, I think it was. I can double check that, but I believe that's the stat. I am right, just. Did I say top 4 or 5? Because it depends.
I think you said top 4.
Right, well, top 4 I'm right, top 4 I'm wrong. Anyway, Ollie Pope improves this lineup just a little bit more. I mean, even you look at it now and you got Short and Lynn, and you think, right, well, that's pretty good anyway. Now you had Ollie Pope. Are you picking him? Strikers, double game, Ollie Pope.
Am I picking Ollie Pope? I tell you what, if he had the wicketkeeper status on him, he would be a certainty for me. But as a result, he doesn't. So he's not a certainty, and he's batting at number 4, and there's a few bats ahead of him. You know, like Matt Short, Chris Lynn on their day. Well, they already are some of the best batsmen in the Big Bash, right? Jake Weatherald's been in good form the last 12 to 18 months as well. You combine that all together, and there's a chance that against a weak bowling attack like the Melbourne Stars have, that you sort of start to see Ollie Pope come in really late in the innings if they bat first. So I'm not particularly keen on Ollie Pope for that reason. If we were to find out that he was batting at 3 and Lynn was opening, which I think is highly unlikely, but if that were to eventuate, I'd have no problem picking Ollie Pope.
So for you, it's just a matter of whether he bats 3 or 4.
Yes, that's right. What about you? Thoughts on Mr. Pope?
I'm strongly leaning towards Popey. Just sort of because, really, I guess he's. I don't really have anything of substance for anyone, unfortunately. But I do think Ollie Pope is a very good player, and I think it can be very versatile, this Strikers lineup, as we saw on Tuesday. Like Matt Short, I think we can pull up the scorecard so I'm not misquoting. Matt Short made 7, Chris Lynn made 2, and Harry Nielsen made 8. So, like one of the guys in the top 4 made over 20, 30. So it is tempting just because you look at the rest of the Strikers and I already have Overton, I already have Matt Short. So it's like, there's double game players, who's the next sort of guy off the rank that I want? That would be Ollie Pope for me, probably.
Yeah, fair enough. Other guy to talk about in this lineup, Henry Thornton. He was 98,000 coming into the round. Only a small price rise. he probably gets exactly 100,000 or thereabouts. So you're not paying much more than what you're paying right now for him. Um, but 2 wickets looked pretty solid. Had some good pace in him. There was an argument that he should have had a third to Daniel Sams. That's besides the point.
Oh, yeah.
What we're really interested in is him against the weak volatile Melbourne Stars batting lineup, and then him against a Brisbane Heat lineup with a few players missing. Colin Munro, like he's no guarantee to play. I understand that the uh, Heat did really well with the bat last night, but again, it's against the Stars. Doesn't
So it
mean
means
anything in
nothing.
my eyes. So it means nothing. Jimmy Pearson made 68
Hmm.
and looked like Don Bradman, so that means nothing to me. Um, that could just be the white guy. Everyone looks the same sort of thing. But anyway, point being, I'm a big believer that Henry Thornton's a top target for this round at the price. You can build around him at that value for the most of the season, whilst rotating through your gun double game players.
I do also have Henry Thornton as well, and as we saw a couple of years ago, he did have that one season where I believe he was top wicket taker. That was probably in
Yeah.
the same season where after 15, we get it. Move on. We'll move to the Scorchers, I guess, because I guess
Mm.
the Strikers and the Scorchers are the big sort of talking points in
And
this
yeah,
episode. We did mention off the top about Jai Richardson and Josh Inglis. Would you be bringing in Josh Inglis as of now? I know we don't know all that much, but let's say, for example, he plays. You bring him in.
well, so the beauty of that is we're gonna know if he's in the Scorchers squad for their game against the Hurricanes, which occurs Saturday afternoon. We're gonna know about that tomorrow during the day. So we're gonna know before the first game of the round starts. So that's good.
Yep.
If he's in that squad, he's playing, and I'm picking him. And I think he will be in that squad personally. Um, unless he's been told he's playing at the MCG on Boxing Day, which I doubt. But unless
Yeah.
that situation has occurred, I think it's likely he plays. And so at the price, knowing that he would bat three in that situation, I'm all ears to picking him. Oh, would he bat three? Yeah, he would bat
I
three.
was,
They'd move Connolly down. They'd move Connolly down.
even though he usually bats at 4, doesn't he,
I
Josh
think at
Inglis?
Inglis can bat anywhere from one opener to four. And they've spoken about Connolly's versatility as well.
Little bit to think about there. I guess that can lead into I'll add my opinion, even though you didn't ask me. So thanks for asking.
Oh,
But I think I would trade him in as well. But anyway, um, it can roll into, I guess, we're talking about Cooper Connolly. Obviously, 64 off 51 when chasing against the Stars' first game of the season. Not only that, he bowled 2 overs, but a little bit expensive. 18 runs off his 2 overs, but a wicket.
mm.
Now, we did mention that they might rotate some of their bowlers, the Scorchers. Does that mean anything for Cooper Connolly? Probably not. I don't know. But it looks like he's a shoo-in for overs at least in some games. And like at least on top of that, he'll be batting 3, maybe 4. We'll see. Are you bringing him in this round, Nath?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that 100 last round probably means that he'll have a fairly negative break even going into the double. Ooh, nice thumbs up again. Um, but yeah, but like I don't. His role will only be good when Hardy's not playing. Now, admittedly, Connolly will be the sixth bowler for the majority of the season. It'll be about batting position when Hardy's there and Inglis is there. And so in that sense, I'm conservative as to whether or not he'll bat high enough to be worthwhile. But it doesn't matter for this particular round because Hardy's not playing. and so he's going to battle top four. And I like with the versatility of Inglis and the versatility of Connolly, they could go in any sort of direction. They could bat Connolly at three, they could bat Inglis at three, they could bat either of them anywhere. Like it wouldn't matter to them. They still function perfectly as always because it's the Perth Scorchers, right? So
Mm.
I'll be picking Connolly. Now, apparently, I meant to ask you what you'd be doing. So what would you do?
I will be trading in Connor this round. I'm actually going to be trading all the guys in we mentioned this round because they all scored points, and I'll
Yeah.
be needing those and cash gen, etc., or buzzword sort of things. On
Chasing
a more
points.
serious note, I have, I think, 4 scored strikers at the moment. Buckingham, we'll see whether he plays or not, but there's probably enough strikers for me to go a bit Scorchers heavy in my trades. That meaning probably Cooper Connolly, Josh Inglis if he plays, and I don't know who else. We'll see. Does that sort of wrap up Scorchers chat for you? Is there any other plays you'd like to talk about?
That's all good for Scorchers chat. Now, obviously, we like I would have liked to have talked a bit about Hobart, but we can't because we don't really know their team, so we can skip past that. The rest of that game, Sydney Smash, Thunder, Sixers. What's the big news out of that? The big news is that Daniel Hughes is cooked like a Christmas turkey, or your choice of
Elbows
meat,
right off
or
the bone.
tofu, depending on your dietary proclivities. But what we're looking at here is Jack Edwards as the pace bowling equivalent of Matt Short. Jack Edwards will bat at three. He pressed a lot in that innings where he had to step in game and move up 3 or 4 spots in the order. He did really well. Obviously, he's a key bowler for the Sixers as well, so they're not going to go and replace. They're going to probably stick with 8 batsmen in there somewhere. They also get Akila Sane, the Sixers. So all of a sudden, there's a few bits and pieces moving together where Akila Sane, I mean, I'd be shocked if he's not batting 7. I suppose he could bat 8. They could just drop Kerr to 7. Probably fair enough. There's a lot of moving parts there. I kind of expect Joel Davies to keep playing, but not bowl.
Interesting.
But
Okay.
not bowl. But just because he's a good fielder and he's a solid batsman. And if an injury occurs in game, he's a more than handy bowler, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of versatility by picking Davies at 6. But Edwards is like their focal point of their team now. And he got 75 this round. His break even was 45. So what's that? 30 times we get. Look how old my calculator is. But 30
Real mess stuff going on.
times 0.233 goes up around $7,000. So he's going to be 143.7. 143.5. Sorry. Very cheap. You could boost for him. It's justifiable to be honest, because he's essentially got the role of a double game player, like doing 2 things in bulk every game. That's basically a double player.
I did mention just a couple minutes earlier that I didn't know what I'd do in my third trade, and I remembered that this is what I'll be doing in my third trade. Whether or not I boost or not, I will see. I probably will. Who knows? Hayden Kerr did retire hurt.
Yeah.
The game.
So
there's that.
There is that. I believe that was cramp related.
Just
but
cramps? Okay.
Like we haven't heard anything, so let's not rule anything out. I suppose. It did look like cramps. They were putting a lot of pickle juice into him. I think he's okay, but do the Sixers lose much if he's not playing? Probably not.
Well, it's just sort of I guess
It's news.
Yeah, that too. But it's Kerr and Davies that probably fight for keeping their spot when Akil Hussein comes in, and then is whoever takes over Daniel Hughes, whoever that is. Any ideas as the Sixers guy?
Well, I sort of think it could be Akil Hussein in for Daniel Hughes in a twisted way.
Oh, sure. And leaving Kerr and Davies in.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I
If
mean,
it wasn't,
it's a
if it
direction.
wasn't that way, what way would it be? Do you think?
Probably just Curtis Patterson in at 3, and they wouldn't promote Edwards. But the tone from Greg Shipperd was that they'd found their number 3 in Jack Edwards.
Yeah, I
So
think that's
I just think they could still bat Patterson at 5 or
yeah.
6, but that feels like a waste to me. You may as well pick a versatile cricketer there, like Davies. But as I said, like Davies, but who knows what they'll do, to be honest.
Considering the sort of form Jack Edwards has been in over the past, however many, probably since the end of the last Big Bash.
Mm.
Pretty sound idea. We'll move, I guess, to the Thunder. How could Sam
Yeah.
Constance? He's pretty good at cricket.
Dan Samuel Constance, he's going to have a monster break even next round, like a seriously big break even. You look at that.
Probably the biggest
I'd posit a
slash
guess.
smallest.
You're looking at -50 or more. And the kid's a talent, a proper talent. Like it looks so easy for him out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, very easy on the eyes as well. He had 56 off. I'm not sure how many balls, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to be able to follow
27.
to Sure, 27. There you go. That helps. A catch as well, taking to 101 points is very impressive, and I reckon 99% of super coaches already have him on their bench. So
Mm.
there's probably still a lot of trade in for him, but we'll move on. David Warner disappointed. So did Cam Bancroft in the Thunder's win. But we saw Daniel Sams, 45, player of the match as well, taking Pope, sorry, not 45, 42, not out, off 18 balls. Does it justify a trade-in? Oh, you already see you shaking his head. Maybe not this round, but I know he didn't bowl all that well. Is there a temptation, at least from you? I know there's a couple of double game players that you want to bring in, but if someone were to, or if someone were to trade him out, would you?
If I owned him, I wouldn't sell him. But I wouldn't be bringing him in. It's a while until he's double. I think the time to bring players like Daniel Sams in is going to be after round 3, when this massive period of just double game rounds being all over you, or all over super coaches, just rife throughout. That period ends after round 3. Then we go back to some smooth waters. Only one double game around. Sometimes there's none, and there's a bye, or one and a bye. Or just everyone plays once. Just quickly on Constance, he'll go up to $60,000 after that game. And then you throw into that pretty negative break even. He could well be 100,000 after 2 games.
Yeah. Anything else on the Thunder you'd like to talk about? Because I think otherwise we'll move on.
Let's move on.
We will move on. Our next game in the round after the Sydney Smash is Heat and Adelaide. We already touched on Adelaide. Do we need to touch on anything about the Brisbane Heat?
I mean, let's have a look, because there's a couple of things. So obviously you've got Colin Munro. He injured his hamstring the day before, or on the day of their game, which therefore means yesterday or the day before that. What that means is not much, because apparently he had scans and he was all clear. Just a slight tweak. He'll be fine for the next game. It was more of a precaution not to play him. So he'll be back. He'll be playing. Spencer Johnson, not much news on him. I think the expectation is that he'll be back for the 22nd, but watch this space. We'll know more between now and then, that's for sure. The big injury news was Tom Alsop injuring his quad at practice yesterday.
Mm.
So that's obviously an international. which then opens this avenue up a little bit. If this is a injury, that will put him out for multiple games. They are the Heat have openly said they're floating with the idea of picking an international replacement player.
Tom Banton, that's what I'm hearing.
It could be Tom Banton. It could well be Tom Banton. So you might get someone completely new that's all of a sudden interesting for the double game round. So that's something to keep in the back of your minds, but that's more of a round 3 problem than a round 2 problem. But just something to think about.
Jimmy Pearson, very good, 72 off 56. I'm not sure, considering the round situation, you'd be trading him in, sort of like, I guess, a Daniel Sams this round. He played well, but I'm not sure you'd trade him in just based off the round situation. Again, we already touched on the Strikers. We'll move. Last game of the round is Renegades and Scorchers, so I guess it'll be relatively quick because we'll just talk about the Renegades. Again, I already touched on the Scorchers. Sutherland, I guess if you don't have him, you need him.
You do need
everyone
him.
should have him and probably should keep him.
I'll say this: there's a bit of grace to be granted about Sutherland. There was injury concerns, and the expectation was that he bat 7 and maybe bowl 1 or 2 overs at most. The other expectation was that Hassan Khan would play the first 3 games, not just 1 game. So there's a bit of all that sort of shenanigans going on. But eventually, this has just led to Sutherland, deciding I am fit. I'm going to do it all, and he did. He was good with the bat. He was good with the ball. Easily harsh, but for me, he was their best player on ground that night. Over Seifert, yeah, just because not only is he performing with bat and ball, he's also their captain. He's quite literally doing everything.
Probably why he bowled 4 overs, but
well, he would have if he got to finish his. But
good point.
With Sutherland, there's 1 game next round, and then they've got the bye the round after. So you're looking at round 4 for him, and that's when they play the double, and that's when so you could stash him on your bench. It's probably a fair call.
It's like if you don't already have him, then I wouldn't bother probably trading him in this round. But obviously, those who own are stashing him on their bench, I reckon, probably round 3.
Yeah, use him as a loop. He's dual position as well, so that's useful. And
it's probably the same with Seifert at the moment. At least this is very at the moment, considering they haven't played their second game. Players like, I guess, a Fraser McGurk, O'Neill, and probably a Josh Brown. If you're tempted into those guys, they are probably ones that need to go at the end of round 2. If not this round.
End of round 1.
Yeah, correct. There we go.
And you could also just on Zampa, he's cheap enough where it's not really justifiable to sell him. So for me, I'm going to sit him on my bench. He's going to be my loop in round 3. I'm just going to use him effectively. I'll have him for the round 4 double if I choose to play him, and then hopefully he's made his way to 110 or 100k at that point. And I'll take him to someone else. I think you just play the long game with him because he's too cheap to stress over.
Round 2 preview. That about wraps it up. Just remember that nothing we say holds any value or meaning, and you can't hold us accountable to any suggestions that we have, because it's not our fault if we get it wrong, but it is if we're right. Any thoughts to finish off?
Not really. There's no real appropriate video clip to play now. I was trying to find one, but there's not really, is there?
No, not really.
Good luck. Hope Sutherland doesn't get injured.
I'm not sure about good luck. I'm not sure about good luck. I want
good luck.
I want the money. There's the
You
big
want the money?
prize. I want the
Yeah.
money.
Okay. Well, there you go. Stuff you all.
Mm.
I want money. You don't get any.
No.
Uh,
But
yeah.
subscribe,
It's
follow
all about
on
me.
Instagram,
Nah. Yeah.
YouTube.
Make me feel good. Just pander to me and
There's,
Patrick.
there's,
Maybe.
yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Just me. Just me.
Well, look, yeah. So, yeah. That wraps us up. We'll see you next time. Maybe. We'll see.